this lady here talks about, let's refresh this video. This lady says weight loss is a public humiliation ritual. All right, let's see what she says about this.
Weight loss is a public humiliation ritual. A lot of people know that the cost of success is often embarrassment, but the cost of success is also being misunderstood, and that misunderstanding can occur in perpetuity. I'm currently going through the third humiliation ritual in my life, but the second one was losing weight and trying to be healthier. You cannot over explain yourself and why you do certain things. In the beginning of my weight loss journey, I would ask for a double chicken at the dining hall and get side eyes because you big as hell, you want double chicken. I would go to the gym and train to failure at 250 pounds. Why are you training that hard? You still have all that fat on you. These little misunderstandings made me feel very uncomfortable and made me feel like I was doing something wrong. But you have to understand that in those pockets of discomfort, even if it feels very heavy, that is where the growth is happening. You, you have to get comfortable with being misunderstood on your weight journey, your health journey, your growth journey, because this is where you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have trial and error. You're going to have to do different things. And if you waste your time explaining to people, apologizing to people on why you can go out to eat or why you act a certain way you do, you are going to paralyze yourself and your ability to make progress. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. No one has to understand you, but you have to trust that the results will speak for themselves. I love y'all and have a great morning. Come on.
Shout out to her, man. Very well spoken, very well put. Um, I mean, I've said this before, man. Anything that is, excuse me, anything that is worth having, is going to be very, it's going to be very uncomfortable at first. Anything that's worth having, anything that is hard to obtain, hard to achieve, is going to be very difficult in the beginning. It's going to be very uncomfortable. Why? Because you're not used to being in this situation, right? That goes for anything, right? Tomorrow I can go drive a box truck. Never drove a truck in my life. In that situation, I'm going to be very uncomfortable because I'm always thinking about the worst case scenario. I'm thinking about, oh shit, what the fuck if I hit somebody? There's going to be a lot of thoughts going through my head, right? However, if I keep driving that motherfucker, if I start getting better at it, if I work at it every single day, if I practice, yeah, I'm going to eventually get better at driving a box truck. Or we can even go as far as, you know, trying to make music or rap or sing or play an instrument. It's going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to be embarrassing because you're going to be terrible at it, right? It is, yes. If she wants to put it that way, I wouldn't necessarily put it that way about it being a public humiliation ritual. I wouldn't go that far, but I get what she's saying, right? As far as you putting yourself out there to be publicly scrutinized or embarrassed because you're doing something that you've never done before, I can see that happening. Yes, it's publicly embarrassing, but I wouldn't call it a humiliation ritual. Y'all be thinking everything is a goddamn humiliation ritual. But I get what she's saying in that sense, mainly because um it's something that you're not used to doing. And when you're not used to doing something, yes, it's going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to be embarrassing to do, you know. But if you dedicate yourself to keep on showing up every single day, despite how you feel, right? How I talked about earlier in the show about me streaming for these past 90 days, you show up, you know, despite how you feel, despite how heavy that fucking bar feels on your back, how, hungry you are, how tired you are, how sore you feel, you're irritable because you're not eating the same food that you used to eat. Now you're eating very lean cut pieces of meat, complex carbohydrates. You're no longer putting hella salt and sugar in your food now. Now everything is digestible, right? It's uncomfortable. But If you keep showing up every single day, it gets easier over time. It gets doable, right? It may not get easier, right? Because working out is always going to be a very strenuous activity, but it gets what's the word I'm looking for? It gets manageable, right? You can manage it better. So that's the key in this whole situation. You get to manage it better as you keep doing it. So Um, yeah, man. Weight loss journey, starting a new instrument, learning a new skill. It's embarrassing. It can be very embarrassing, right? You feel like people are judging you. You feel like people are looking at you like you don't know what the hell you're doing. I feel like this. I felt like this um when I first started to learn how to box, right? Mainly when I first started to learn how to hold mitts so people can punch into it. I was horrible at it. I felt like everybody was looking at me like, oh, this motherfucker doesn't know how to hold the mitts right. But even though I felt like I looked stupid, I kept showing up every single day. I kept getting better at it. And eventually I got good at it, right? I'm still not, I don't feel like I'm, you know, immensely skillful at it, but I do feel like I can hold my own, right? I do feel very confident in what I'm doing. So that's just me, man. So if you're gonna be trying something new for the first time, just be prepared to be embarrassed because it's gonna happen to you. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna get embarrassed. You're gonna feel stupid. You're gonna feel awkward. But once that goes away, it's gonna be nothing.